Okay, let's move on to item number 8, call special by Ms. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam President. Colleagues, last month we became aware of a methane leak that is emanating from the Valley Generation Station in Sun Valley in Ms. Martinez's district. This particular facility is one that has, as we know, these are regional impacts. This is not something that impacts and restricted to impacting the immediate area of a council district. It extends itself well beyond any council district boundaries. The frustrating part of what transpired with this entire situation was that, much like the methane leak, information was not transparent, it was not visible, it was not forthcoming from the Department of Water and Power. And that has been one of the most frustrating and disappointing parts of everything that has evolved since discovering this leak. This motion is to help address that very situation. It was only when JPL determined that there was a methane leak that we all became publicly aware of this situation. And so as a result of that, I'm requesting and directing that the Department of Water and Power work in consultation with our Bureau of Street Lighting to help do installations of air quality monitoring systems, because we shouldn't be waiting for other entities to let us know when we are having these problems. And frankly, it's been, it's just been unconscionable that our own Department of Water and Power would not have the systems in place to assure the safety and protections for members of our community, communities that have had to endure for far too long the environmental injustices that have now enabled this, this circumstance to continue to evolve. So, colleagues, I ask for your aye vote, and I want to thank my colleagues. I know we have forthcoming other efforts that we will be establishing to help address and mitigate this going forward. But you know, this is not something, this is not reflective of who we are as a city. And these are some of the efforts that we need to be investing in and deploying in these areas to help protect our communities going forward. And I ask for your aye vote.
Okay, Madam Clerk, Mr. Koretz.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you to Councilmember Rodriguez for bringing this forward. This is a problem in many ways, and obviously another environmental disaster. But one of them is also internal communications, and hopefully DWP will improve that as well, because as I understand it, the initial DWP staff that knew about this just essentially put it on a list to be fixed eventually, and did not communicate it up the chain where presumably the higher up management would have reacted much more quickly. So they need to both do the kind of monitoring that is necessary. It's absurd that we wound up finding out about this essentially by accident. We could have gone many more years without ever knowing about it. And even more absurd that initial staff did know about it and then didn't communicate it to the folks that would have prioritized it. So a lot to be done. I think the monitoring equipment is absolutely key, not just around this station, but all our similar facilities. And thank you again, Ms. Rodriguez, for bringing this forward.
Thank you, colleagues. I do want to point out, though, that I want to recognize in particular the organization that's been organizing on the ground on this issue for quite some time, and that's Pacoima Beautiful. And I cannot reiterate enough the lack of respect that this department has had for this community. Eventually, the long-term goal is to eventually shut this down. There shouldn't be a reason why this community continues to carry the burden for the rest of the city of Los Angeles. So as someone who lives in Sun Valley and has been dealing with this issue for quite some time, it's outrageous that this department did not communicate what was happening there. So moving forward, we have a series of motions that we're going to be bringing to City Council. We had a hearing on this issue about a week and a half ago in Energy Committee, so this is something that's going to continue to come to us, so we've got to do the right thing. by the community and by the Northeast San Fernando Valley. So with that, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll on item number 8?
Blumenfield.
Blumenfield, aye.
Bonin.
Bonin, aye.
Buscaino.
Aye.
Cedillo.
Cedillo, aye.
Harris Dawson.
Yes.
Koretz.
Aye.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Martinez.
Aye.
O'Farrell.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Rue.
Aye.
Wesson.
Yes.
14 ayes, this item is adopted.